Nobody in here has relatives that work at the bank, I swear to God. I use them for my own banking purposes, but when we went out there, okay, and we were in the short sale department, so one guy was reading comic books, one guy was reading the classified ads looking for another job, okay? These are the short sale negotiators. You have to understand, they have about 100 files on their desk, okay? And they're not incented, okay, properly. They need to be incented on how many they close versus just they paid $40,000 a year. That's their pay, $40,000 a year. It doesn't matter how many they approve. It doesn't matter how many they close. They earn $40,000 a year. So when your short sale finally gets to the top of the pile and they pull it, and there's one thing wrong with the package, and you do one thing wrong with the equator, it goes to the bottom of the pile. So, you know, and then what happens is the seller gets frustrated and starts to not believe us, or the agent. Like, how could you have called the bank 10 times in the last week and not have an answer for me? I'll just call myself. What does that short sale negotiator say? I've never heard from them. They've never called me. I'm like, oh, you've got to be kidding me. It happens all the time. You have to understand, there's a new initiative out there with the Treasury where, I think it's the Dodd-Frank part of what they want to do, is they want the banks to take one person and work on a file from the day the seller is delinquent all the way through. So that same person is going to be the person that you contact if you want a mod, if you want a short sale, if you want a foreclosure, if you want a deed in lieu. And that's the new initiative because they're frustrated with the sellers calling all these different departments and nobody's talking to each other. So that's this new initiative in Congress. Do you know what the bank's response was? All the banks came forward and said, we couldn't possibly do that. We'd have to pay the people too much. We don't pay that much, so we don't get that high quality workers. That was their response. That was their response. Comic books and classified ads, that's who we're dealing with. It's tough. Yes?
Have you been able to, when you were speaking with the Bank of America representatives, talk to them about